Back with another one, y'all. Bad News Brown. Rest in peace, famous Amos. For those that don't know, Wally Amos, the founder of the famous Amos Cookies, just passed away recently, and I kind of want to speak on his legacy, being that he was black, he was African American, and he went through a few ups and downs in his life, in his professional career, and I even remember when I was in prison. When you're in jail, they make you go through a lot of them certain classes, them AA classes or whatnot, and certain little courses like that. And they played that video where he spoke on his life. And then I remembered that because prior to that, I remembered him, of course, famous Amos, but I didn't really know too much about him. So I want to just give acknowledgement and thanks to his life. You understand? As time go on and people tend to be forgotten about, and or their story get rewrote and remixed, as we already know, it get highly weirded out. So I just kind of want to just tell some general basic stuff about famous Amos. Now, he originally started from a black talent agency, like in the 70s. Now, of course, this was before I was born, so I don't know him through that. I know him through famous Amos, which he actually started in 1975. And of course it's been around since then, but of course something else happened in the 80s. So I guess around 1985, now keep in mind, by this time, from the time he started it to 85, that was pretty much, it definitely was national. I think famous Amos was international. That was a major company. I remember seeing that even as a little boy, even famous Amos Cookies. But in 1985, I guess the company was taking some losses, and he invited some outside investors, and apparently they finessed him out of his company with him not even knowing. And the lesson to be learned in that is that the borrower is always going to be servant to the lender. And as the famous words of the Napoleon say, is because the hand that gives is always going to be above the hand that receives. That's what happened to him. So he didn't purposely sell his company like I had originally thought or believed, but come to find out that's what happened. And he spoke about it as far as how, like, man, how the brother got finessed out his company, and telling people to beware and be on alert about them sharks out there in this industry. And of course we hear about it all the time now when it comes to these musicians, these music artists signing contracts and stuff. And then I'm gonna give y'all a little tip when it comes to contract law. Just because you sign something, don't make it a contract. You can verbally agree to something, if not even knowing what an offer is being made to you, and get locked in. But I ain't gonna talk too much more about that. But yeah, man, I'm gonna give y'all a little tip on that when it comes to this. So understand the game, what you're doing. And I may have mentioned this when it comes to learning the ropes, if you want to pull the strings, because we like to look at the end result of stuff, and it looks all nice and pretty, but you don't really see the grit and grind and the work or whatever else that went into it. So you want the microwave, the real quick, instantly. But ain't nothing instantly unless it's some fake food. So keep that in mind. And it applies to anything in your life. You want it fast, easy come, easy go. If you want it fast, it's going to be stepped on. It ain't going to be the real deal. You got to bake that thing in the oven. You understand? Prep that properly. But back to what I'm saying. Excuse me. But RIP to the famous Amos. And he mentioned that, of course, after that, he was devastated, in depression, of course. And I can't too much remember more of the story he told, but eventually he resurfaced again on TV. He was on that Shark Tank, and he was promoting another cookie brand. What is it, Kahuna Cookie or something to that effect. And he was chilling in Hawaii, you know what I mean? He was enjoying his life still, and he did make a few other moves after that, but again, he never got back as far as his professional business career as notable as he did with the famous Amos. But again, I just want us not to forget who he was, and he was a successful brother. Nothing more, nothing less. And professionally, he lost his business, so I don't really necessarily want to just remember him from the famous black dude who lost his business. No, he started the famous Amos cookies. So when you see that logo, even if him passing, even when he didn't own it, it was always associated with him. And again, I don't really know the details as far as the legality. I don't even know if he fought and got some of it back or any type of agreements, anything was made. I'm not sure, but again, man, this video is just really just to commemorate his life, man. And another brother, passed, another successful brother passed. And I know some of you out here thinking like, well, why you can't just be a successful person? Why you can't just be famous Amos? Why it gotta be a black famous person? Why you gotta put the black in it? Well, in a perfect world, I get it. We wouldn't have to. Just like King said, we'd be judged on the content of your character. But we ain't in a perfect world. And again, we didn't create the whole color line spectrum. So again, he was a famous black businessman, entertainer as well, because he also wrote, I believe, a children's book or had a children's series of sorts. So he was a pretty good, legitimate person, from what I can tell. He wasn't involved in scandals, not that I can remember, other than just him losing his company, unfortunately. But again, man, y'all, teach your children about this person. Not that he was Malcolm X or Martin Luther King or anybody, but just when y'all go in the store and y'all see them cookies, hey man, associate that with him. And you can tell the story, yeah, he used to own that. Of course, he passed now. But as they get older, of course, but we got to start doing that. And it may seem like it's not noteworthy to do that, but it is, man, because especially in this day and age with the information, you got to tell the story correct because it's so much information. And I always mention this, a lot of people, if you ain't got the certain knowledge and your filter in place in the first place, you're going to accept everything, especially if you ain't reading. You understand, They took away your desire to read, and yeah, everything is on Google. Nah, you still need to read some of them books. That remind me of that. And now I'm going down the rabbit hole. Forget about that, y'all. R.I.P. to the great, famous Amos.